what we covered last week, it was mainly related to the environmental, how the fast world is changing and what is happening outside and what we could do. So one thing we realize is that the life cycle of skills is reducing very fast. The challenges are only increasing in a nutshell. And we need to really prepare for that proactively. That was the nutshell of the first session or the webinar part 1. And today what we are going to discuss is mainly narrowing down on some of the very effective marketing tools. So if challenges are increasing on the external side, what you could do from your side is to increase your effort, not effort only on the learning new things, but also some marketing techniques which are working very well at the professional level. So we'll talk about personal branding, relationship, networking, and Hamad will take you into the very critical and strategic area of how to use LinkedIn to grow and promote your career at the senior level. Next week, we will come back at the same day and same time. And then we will talk more about the career planning strategies and the roadmaps, how the career cycle is changing, career path is changing, what you need to do differently than you were doing before, how to target a position or a company, and how to change industries, those type of things at that level we'll discuss next week, inshallah. So briefly, I'm going to just glimpses from the last webinar, what we covered. As I said, one of the very strong message was that the skill life cycle is reducing. So in this chart, you can see that in 1975, a skill used to last 15 years, good period of time once you learn something new. Today, it's only 3 years, even less than that. Some experts are saying it's just 2 years. You learn something new, and that life is only 2 years, and you have to learn something else after 2 years. So that's very clearly observed trend, which is affecting all of us. Then we also talked about the career path. What you see on the slide on the top is basically a smooth career path. We call it linear career path. Now, linear career path is becoming more and more seldom. What you see at the bottom is more like the pattern more and more professionals are facing. It's not a linear career, it's non-linear career. We'll go in more detail in the next session about the non-linear career and how you can manage it. So in a nutshell, we are in a VUCA world. I'm not sure if you have heard the term, but VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, chaos, and ambiguity. This is the world, and this is not going to change. So we need to really learn how could we cope with this changing world, and how could we still live and not only survive, but thrive under the different conditions. One thing which is pressuring for many people, but this is a reality we need to accept, that in professional careers is going to be competitive. It's not only merit-based that you feel that you have certain degrees and professional certifications and you are entitled for certain job. It's competitive. This is a reality, a harsh reality or brutal reality, that there are more people looking for jobs than the jobs available. And this is not going to change, which means that it is not about your degrees, qualification, or other merits. It is who is more qualifying, more competitive, better than others. When employer try to hire someone, they don't look for a certain caliber or certain qualification. They are looking who is the best talent available in the market. If you are not the best, you are not going to get that opportunity. So it's competitive, which means that it's a moving target. You need to continue watching the market and see that how the talent is being available in the market. And if there are more people better qualified than you, then you need to develop more talent and skills and merit to qualify for those jobs which the other people are pursuing. So a broad picture or broad understanding is that, look, the times are gone when you could run your job on speed, accuracy, and memory, because these three basic attributes of computers, we cannot beat them as human beings. So all the jobs, or most of the jobs which are requiring speed, accuracy, and memory, are being taken over by computers one after another. And we are left with more opportunities. So instead of looking that computers are taking our job, we need to see that what we are capable of, and we are capable of higher cognitive skills in social and emotional skills as well, which means that we need to come up with a set of talent, a unique set of talent in the area of cognitive skills and social and emotional, where we could be valuable, where the computer could not do that job. So in a nutshell, that's a direction we are moving towards. And all the talk about the skills or skills of future is basically narrowing down on these skills in the cognitive and the emotional and social area where we have to develop at the advanced level. So this is a snapshot of a survey made, and this shows the type of the skills which are becoming in more demand. So if you look from the top, which skills are in the most demand? Critical thinking, problem solving, self-management, working with people. These are the skills which are in more demand. They look simple. Most people will say, I can do that. But look, as I said earlier, this is comparative. And you have to have really a deep and advanced level of competency in these skills so you could do those complex jobs for which employers and hiring managers are looking for the right candidates. And I explained that how could you develop those skills in the last session, and we'll talk more about it. So from a learning point of view, if you feel that you are in a comfort zone, which means you feel that you have all the necessary and required talent, you are in a high risk zone actually. Right place to be in today's time is in the learning zone. If you are not in the learning zone, you could be in the comfort zone. And if you are in the comfort zone, having a belief that you already know everything, you might end up landing into the panic zone because it would be too late for you to learn something. So whether you see the risk or danger or not, this is the time to start learning whatever you feel appropriate for you to develop yourself for future opportunities. And future opportunities may not be visible yet, but you need to prepare for those opportunities. It's not about the roles and jobs. It's about the skill development. Look at those skills and try to develop those skills. These skills are broad. These skills are global. These skills are transferable, which means that you are not confined to few specific roles. If you have developed these type of skills, you can fit to any multiple areas or multiple type of roles in certain areas. And we talked about C-suite responsibilities or roles. C-suite are those type of roles where mainly you require fundamentally leadership and strategic skills. I know many people who are CTO or CIO, Chief Technical Officer or Chief Information Officer, and they don't have a technical background. I know a few CFOs who do not have a financial background, but they are doing their job very well because they are much better in leadership and strategy. So the best role to keep in mind, again, this is a little bit vague and very general, is of a versatilist, not a specialist, not a generalist, but a versatilist. Versatilist is someone who has a multiple deep skills, who could work a wide area of roles and responsibility, and who could be in more demand in future based on the mix of the experience and skills that person could offer. So let me bring you back to the framework we are trying to learn from in this session or in this series of webinars. And this is the model I follow, I use for my leadership programs and courses. So it's very simple, but don't be deceived by the simplicity. This is very powerful. It all starts with your personal leadership. Your personal leadership starts with your mindset, developing a right mindset. I call it setting up your inner game, because you have to have the right beliefs. And once you are done with the right beliefs, the right mindset, then you create a lifestyle, work-life integration or peak performance where you are productive enough. This is all about these two areas about your personal leadership. Once you are prepared with your personal leadership, you have to face the world. That's more challenging, right? Now, to face the world, one tool or one thing which you have to use, this is the window to the world or window to the opportunity, is your communication. That is the only way you interact with the world. So if you are not good in communication, you may struggle with that. But before you start your communication, you have two marketing tools available, very powerful tools: your personal branding and your relationship and networking. If you could prepare little bit in these two areas, your communication becomes very powerful and you could effectively deal with the world. all these three things, communication, personal branding, and relationship, is your external or public leadership. And once you are prepared and ready with this, then your job is to really just create influence around you. With the people you work, your bosses, your senior executives, your management, also your family, your neighbors, your friends. It becomes your general mission and goal to create influence. And if you are successful in creating influence, all other things which people look for, like salary, role, they come as a byproduct. So rather than focusing on the titles and salaries and money, you focus on creating influence, and all things, those things come as a byproduct. Peter Drucker was amazing. He was an amazing futurist. He could look into the future 20 years, 30 years ahead and predict things which have come very true. At one point of time, he said business has only two basic functions, marketing and innovation. How true? I looked at this quote and I tried to understand how does it fit into the individual professionals, people like us. And I say this is very much applicable to the individual professionals like you. Your basic function as a professional is marketing and innovation. What does it mean? Innovation means you need to continue learning and developing yourself, your talent, whatever your talent is, you need to continuously. It's not about achieving a degree or certification. You continuously trying to develop those things, and that is your innovation. But that's not enough. All of your hard work, all of your degrees and certification may go to waste if you don't do marketing. Now that's even more challenging area for most professionals. It starts with the mindset. First of all, you need to really see and check with yourself. How do you see marketing or selling yourself? Many people don't feel comfortable. Many people feel that personal selling is not a good thing. I cannot market myself. Well, if you don't market yourself, you cannot sell yourself, and you need to sell in this world. Talent market is becoming highly competitive. If you don't market, people don't know what you could offer. Marketing, or personal marketing as I call it, is just a matter of communication. You need to communicate with the world what you bring to the table so they can benefit from your talent. That is what marketing is. So in fact, when you do personal marketing or personal selling, you do favor to the world. Otherwise, they don't know about your talent. That's what we are going to talk today. Personal marketing and personal branding and relationship and network building. These things are part of the marketing. And when you do marketing to market your talent, it's personal marketing, which is essential in today's time. So I hope that this is not the case that you think so. But if you think that marketing is not good for you or you don't believe into it, then I suggest that you first start setting up the right mindset, because otherwise nothing would work for you. Look at this picture. Look at this car. Can you drive this car? There are no wheels or there are no tires. Can you drive? Probably you could drive or drag it to a few yards. But without tires, it would be almost impossible to drive it. Your career without personal marketing is like this car. So you have a shining career, right? You have very good qualification, education, you have a lot of talent, everything is there, except the tires or the wheels, without which you cannot drive the car. Your career is like this. If you are not doing any marketing, you have a shining car with a lot of performance, engines and power, but you cannot run it. Personal marketing creates the wheels for your career. Personal marketing make it run smoothly. Otherwise, you may be dragging your career, which is true for many people. So let's start with personal branding. Why branding? So branding is not a new concept. Businesses are doing for centuries. And one obvious reason is that when there is more supply of something, less demand, more supply, the smart companies or products usually try to create brand differentiate them in the crowd. Take some common examples. I'm sure every one of you is familiar with these brands. Why? Because they are good brands. There are a lot of hundreds of varieties of watches and cars and other things, but these three brands are very unique and people pay premium price for these brands because they have a very positive perception about or image about these products. Why people would pay 3 times the price of a coffee? Now, some would say that it's a different taste of coffee, but the reality is this is just branding. People will pay 3 times the price of a coffee just for branding. So imagine that if you as a professional, you brand yourself successfully, what value the world would put on you, how much level of success you could achieve with that level of branding. So branding is not much different than creating your reputation. It's very simple. It is about your reputation, and reputation matters. In the professional market, in the talent market, reputation significantly matters. Do you have a reputation? And if it is, then what is it? So the main reason, first you need to convince yourself why branding. And as I said, the basic reason is that there is more supply than demand. There are more people available to do your job, what you're looking for. So you need to differentiate yourself. You need to look different. And branding does that job. Job market or talent market is only becoming more competitive. There are less and less jobs and more candidates available to do those jobs. But when you do successfully a personal branding, it gives you confidence, because branding doesn't mean that you tell false information to the world. You need to first find out what are your talent and then communicate those talent in a fairly and authentic manner. Once you do that authentically, it gives you a lot of confidence that what you are telling to the world, that is what you offer to the world. It's your reputation. Personal marketing is educating the world about your talent. You are giving them or doing a favor to the world by doing personal branding. So mindset to do the personal marketing or personal branding, it starts with that it is inevitable. In today's time, as I said, you cannot drive a car without tires or wheels. Your tires or wheels are the personal marketing. Without personal marketing, you could probably drag your career to somewhere, but you cannot run it smoothly. So you need to accept that in today's time, personal marketing is inevitable for your career success. And personal branding is based on authentic you. You need to first explore yourself. You need to first find out, and I'll show you a couple of ideas how to do that. And in the current online information environment, it is essential. Keep assured that as soon as you talk to someone for their interest, they will search you afterwards, whether it's a decision maker or recruiter or hiring manager, they will search you immediately. What comes up when people search your name? So we are all professionals, and we all working professionals actually, but different people see differently their work. Some people think work is a punishment, work is a torture. So they are looking for 9 to 5. That look, I need to work 9 to 5, then I would be rescued and freed, and then my life would start. But it's called work-life balance. There is no work-life balance. Of course, there are personal priorities, family priorities have to be there. But today, the only way to survive at the level where you are, at the professional level, senior corporate professional level, is work-life integration. Work-life integration or work-life balance doesn't matter. What matters, how do you look at your work? If you look at work 9 to 5, you are doing a job. You are just making a living out of that job. And I'm sure that the people in this webinar are not that type at all. I believe that, because nobody in that category would join a webinar on Sunday evening. So all of you who have joined this webinar at Sunday evening, I'm sure that you are in some other category. Probably you look at the career and you're trying to develop your career, but some people are in the calling stage and they see a purpose in their work. When you are at the career or calling level, you are basically seeing the work as a blessing, and work becomes a joy for you. Work is a joy. Work is an essential part of our life. If you don't believe, ask someone who is jobless for a few months how much blessing work is. So if you look work as a blessing and you do something which you like and you enjoy, that becomes your calling. And that is where you give your fullest. So see yourself. This is a very powerful framework to see where you are. And I'm not suggesting, not forcing you to really go to the top level of calling, but if you are somewhere in the middle around career, you are doing well. But job is not a good place to really go there. This is another framework or diagram which could help you to identify your personal brand. And I'll send you this slide so you could really use it. It starts with your SWOT analysis on the left side. See my strength, what my strengths are. That is where you start this analysis. So first you identify your strengths, then you try to see which strengths I really like. And probably most of your strength is your likings, because that is how those becoming strength. You liked it, you did more and more of it, and those become your strength. And then you see that between my strengths and my what I love, what I could offer to the world, what world needs on those talents. And then finally you look at the bottom and say what I could get some money for it to make my living and make my life. And then you take these four things in different combination, and then you try to narrow down on your vision, mission, profession, passion, and ultimately you reach hopefully to the purpose of your life. That would be ideal if you could reach that. But you need to experiment with this framework few times to really understand where are you coming for. This is your self-evaluation or self-assessment, very important stage. You cannot jump onto the personal branding unless you have gone through this exercise, not for a few hours, but for a few days or maybe few weeks. And practically, personal brand is not really about advertising, that you create beautiful slides and pictures and images and just put on your social media. You need to do hard work. In your workplace, when you are known for solving problems, when you take new initiatives, when you participate in important meetings and events, when you conduct training, when you join cross-functional teams and become volunteer, then people know you. That's a real branding. If you are only doing your routine work, it's very difficult to create a brand because people don't see that brand. Brand or personal brand is only created when you do things out of your way, out of your routine. People notice you. When you are sitting outside finance department in some other cross-functional meeting, people notice you. When you take initiatives, people notice you. When you solve problems, people notice you. Those things are the genuine practical activities which could establish your brand very quickly. So that was internal. If you want to change job, you want to really make a name in the market, then do something externally. Join a professional network. Create a mastermind group. Network in the industry forums. Speak at the professional forums. Write articles. Today, there are so many opportunities to make your name. You don't need any sponsor. You need to do some hard work, but with the help of social media, in a matter of weeks or months, people would know you very well. And thought leadership is the most powerful way to create your brand. And this is very easy. You start writing some blogs, some small posts, and identify your area of expertise, and people start to notice you. Again, you don't need any publisher to publish your books. You can do it very easily. But what you need to do, identify your area of interest. What are you passionate about? Because that passion would help you come out with new ideas. And once you start sharing those ideas with the world, they will start to see as thought leader. And this is really in demand. If you are a thought leader in your domain or in your area of specialization, you will become more in demand outside. So that was a very quick snapshot review of the personal branding. Let me take a few slides with the relationship and networking, and then I'll hand over to Hamad to take you through the LinkedIn secrets and other techniques which could help you grow your career. So look, relationship also, it's a controversial topic because some people believe that there is no place of relationship at work. There is no place of work. Work is work. I just go and do my work and come back. That's it. And my life only starts after work. This is unnatural. We are social creatures. We are social creatures, and we want to work and live with other social animals like human beings. So it's very natural that we relate with them, we connect with them, we talk to them. And The other thing is that we spend most part of our active life at work. Best part of our life we are spending at work. Why not it should be a socially friendly environment? And look, ask yourself, what is the best place? Best place to work is where your buddies are. Not about the gyms or cafeteria or the air conditioning, but where your buddies are. That is where you enjoy most. And if you have good relationship, now you don't need to make each and every one at work your friend. But if you have just good relationship, that makes you happy, engaged, and emotionally strong. And there could be few people you would like to have deep, compelling relationship. That could make you many advantages. And if you have, unfortunately, you are in some negative relationship, you know it well that it sucks your energy. Even you see the face of that person you don't like, it sucks your energy. Avoid those things. So this is very easy to develop. It's very natural, first of all. There should not be any debate or controversy about it. And your mindset for this development of relationship, my first favorite bullet, relationship is the vehicle on which you ride your career journey. We are not talking about nepotism. Not at all. But this is a relationship. Once you develop relationship with people, they started to like you. You started to like them. When you like people, you have a positive image of them. You started to think positively about them. Now, in my career, I have 2 international relocations. One from Pakistan to Singapore, second from Singapore to United States. Now, this is one of the achievements people have in a lifetime. I have 2 times. And why? I would attribute that I had very good level of connections and relationship in the entire company. Not only in the local country I was working, but at the regional headquarter level, at the global headquarter level. And it was not giving me favor. There were other people who were qualified who could get those roles, but I got it because I was not only qualified for those roles, but I also have the connections and relationship. So I did not take advantage of anyone else, but I qualified because of my relationship and networking in addition to my basic qualification for those roles. And networking is the first step towards relationship. And networking is easier nowadays. Networking is not only going to the meetings and conferences and trying to talk to the stranger. LinkedIn is the best place to start your networking. It's so easier, so productive. To save time, in less time, you could connect with a lot of people. Now, for the last 2 years, I could tell you I have not traveled. Last 2 years, since this COVID-19 happened. But every day, I'm talking to hundreds of people from my study room. And it's very effective, very productive, highly rewarding. When I used to travel, I used to spend several days just to attend one conference or one meeting. So this COVID-19 situation has created a lot of advantages. What I'm saying that if you are scared of networking, think of online networking. This is now in the mainstream. This is acceptable by most people. You could connect with people, you could develop connection, and you can turn those networking relationship into a compelling relationship. Okay, if you have not read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, then my advice, buy this and read it and keep it with you. This is, if you have to read one book on the business leadership, this is the one. And I cannot attribute this to one topic only. It is a multiple combination of the topic like relationship, branding, emotional intelligence. This is your personal leadership Bible. So as I said, if you have not read it, buy a copy. Don't try to copy from website, some pirate edition. Invest into it. It's only $10, $15. Invest into it. And then try to make return on that investment. So relationship is also, looks simple, but it really requires some work. This framework is coming from the emotional intelligence, from Daniel Goleman's framework. It starts with your self-awareness, then self-management, then social awareness and relationship management. So it's not that you could jump directly on the relationship management. These are the more specific areas to develop relationship. You need to create self-awareness, self-management, and then social competence, social awareness, and relationship management. These are the specific skills you need to look into. Empathy, organizational awareness, service orientation for the social awareness, and then relationship management, communication skills. I have emphasized that time and again. This is the basic fundamental mother of all other skills, communication skills. Ability to persuade and lead, influence. Develop a strong working relationships. All things are coming back. That is what you need besides your core talent. As I said, you don't get pressured or overwhelmed that you need to develop relationship with all of the people. Look at some strategic relationship. These should not be more than 10. And then invest yourself into those strategic relationships. They will pay you long, high reward. This is a framework how you identify those strategic relationships. Okay, and back to the C-level roles. So you may survive probably in the corporate environment with some junior level positions. But look, if you are sitting in this webinar, probably you are already well qualified. You are well educated, well qualified, and you have all the talent and attributes to become a C-level executive. So why not utilize that opportunity? And you need to do some hard work, but hard work is only developing your leadership talent, which is very natural. Personal branding and relationship is one thing. Learning a strategy is easier than many people think. Once you combine all these things, you are pretty much ready for a C-level role. That's what we are talking about in this webinar. So to reach this level, of course, you need to go through a journey. And this diagram shows you awareness, understanding, acceptance, value shift, belief application, and transformation. You do need a transformation, there is no doubt. But look, transformation is not easy. Many people start their journey from the awareness and they stuck at the understanding level. For example, some of you in this webinar sitting, they say, okay, I got a very good idea. I understand what Saleem is talking about, right? And then you stop there. You don't do anything. You are stuck between acceptance and understanding. That will not yield you anything. You need to take that message from the awareness and understanding and take it up to the level of transformation. How would you do that? You need to take actions. That's what we are talking about. So what are the actions? We talked about the skill pyramid. These are the top 10 skills for future, top 10 skills mentioned by different forums and different organizations. And I created this skill pyramid to help you understand the importance of that. 3 skills which are fundamental to learn these skills are personal brand, relationship we are talking about, and then communication. I suggested you that focus on communication, because if you don't have good communication, you even cannot learn these 10 skills. You need communication as the basic tool to go through those skills one by one. And for the communication is fundamental, basic. I suggested that we are currently open up with the Mecca Toastmaster clubs, where you could, this is a practical platform where you could join, and every other week you can go and practice in the presence of other senior level professionals. And it's almost free because we are not charging anything for this for this membership. The only fee you pay is a small fee charged by Toastmaster. It's $45 for 6 months and $20 one-time new membership fee, $65. If you pay $65, you could join the Toastmaster. Now you can join any Toastmaster. What is special about Mecca Toastmaster? That this is exclusive. It's not open to public. This is only open to selected people endorsed by Mecca, which are usually CFOs, controllers, directors, that level of people, right? If you join that Mecca Toastmaster, keep assured that you will be connected to a very high profile network of executives, which is the key to learn your leadership skills. And on top of it, you will have opportunity to practice your leadership skills every other week. So today is the last date, but I have extended for one more day for people in this sitting in this webinar. If you are interested, go to this link, which is a bit.ly link /Mecca-Toast, or you go to the Mecca Toastmaster, Mecca CFO Academy website, and you can find there. I have extended it for one day. There is only one more day available. If you want to join that, only for $65, then later on $45 every 6 months, and you will become part of that very valuable network. So I just wanted to let you this message be received. And now let me hand over to Hamad.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Saleem Sufi. As Saleem has mentioned, I'm based in Canada. By degree, I am an economist. I've worked in development economics for almost 32 years. Coaching and mentoring has always been my passion, and I have coached and mentored people in over 12 countries. Um LinkedIn is what I love, and LinkedIn is what I coach people on for from starting level or the entry level to mid senior level to the senior level. I have online courses also coming up, and I work with my clients across the globe and help them build their LinkedIn profiles and optimize their LinkedIn profiles. So if you are not on LinkedIn, you may be missing on a great opportunity to to connect with people like Salim and myself and some others. So we will start with a small question. Is your LinkedIn helping you achieve your goals? What I have seen is a lot of people have LinkedIn profile, and there are 800 million people. Hardly anyone comes on LinkedIn and builds a profile with a definite goal, which means that the strategy part is often missing. And if we don't have a strategy, we cannot really define what the process of achieving that ultimate goal would be in this whole scheme. So in this session, I'm going to kind of uncover some of the interesting parts of LinkedIn, and I'll try to help you think through as to what LinkedIn can do for you. So what we need to learn or to understand what is our why or what is your why. Why are you on LinkedIn? Have you ever documented it? You have almost everybody is in a senior position, and we all have our annual KPIs, objectives, institutional objectives, personal objectives. If we treat LinkedIn as a platform where we can actually grow our presence and connect with a lot of people, relevant people, we need to understand our why, and we have to document our why, the reason for being out there on LinkedIn. Another interesting why in this whole scheme is why somebody would connect with me, why somebody would connect with Salim or Hamal or Abhijit or Mohammed Kamran. Why would somebody take time out and accept my invite? And these two whys are really, really important in establishing the foundation for our strategy on LinkedIn. A lot of people don't even understand if their LinkedIn profile is healthy or not. What does it mean? It means they don't really know whether LinkedIn profile is appearing in LinkedIn search, or whether my views are increasing or decreasing, whether my posts that I'm putting out are being viewed, and am I getting enough engagement on my posts. All that combined is called LinkedIn profile health. If your profile is healthy, you will be appearing more frequently on search that people are doing. So if I am searching for a CFO based in Dubai, for instance, I I can do it as a recruiter. There's something called LinkedIn Recruiter tool, and recruiters have access to that tool. If your LinkedIn profile is not healthy, if it is not optimized, then the profile will not appear on search. In the interest of time, I cannot share the whole process here, but just keep in mind, if you're interested in learning whether your LinkedIn is healthy or not, you can always DM me. There's a short video that I did on my YouTube channel. It's a 5 minute video. You can watch that video and do your own LinkedIn profile health check, which will give you the starting point on your LinkedIn strategy. Now, this is the data that I compiled from my clients, and I keep doing it on a regular basis. One of the parameters is the profile views. How many views did my profile get in the last 90 days? And this data tells me that a lot of people have profile views that are less than 290 days. Now, if you do your own maths, you will learn how many views per day a profile received in that particular data set. Very few people had close to 800 views. And views are really important. This actually shows whether people are coming to our profile or not. A lot of people try to compare LinkedIn with Facebook because globally Facebook is huge, TikTok is growing, and Instagram is doing wonderful. Let's compare Facebook and LinkedIn. Facebook has 1.7 billion users and growing. LinkedIn has about 800 million users and also growing. The logical explanation would be that I should be on Facebook rather than be active on LinkedIn. But reality is a little different because I have not seen someone, at least in uh, my profession, where when I coach people to find job opportunities using LinkedIn, that they were able to find a job opportunity, at least at a senior level, using Facebook. So if Facebook is not really helping us grow, the platform that would help us grow, we should really be focusing on that platform. And let's see why I say that. This is Facebook. Everybody's shouting, everybody's sharing content. There is hardly any strategy. There's hardly any focus. You can share anything from my cat is sick to what I ate last night and how angry I am, or how happy I am and I watched this movie. So you can actually share everything and anything on Facebook, and who cares? It's a chaos. In the chaos, if you shout also, your voice will become a noise, and it's very difficult for people to understand the noise. So why don't we go to a platform which is much quieter, where you can actually build one-on-one conversation. You can identify companies that you want to work for. You can identify people that you want to connect with, and you can start building those one-on-one conversation if you have that, if you're active on that platform. So remember, people connect with people they know and trust. So your strategic goal should be to develop those relationships, which Saleem also spoke about. And believe me, I did not see that presentation before. This is very common. That means relationships build trust, and that trust then lead to further strengthening relationship and network building. There are certain misconceptions that LinkedIn users have. People say I have a LinkedIn profile or a company page, and they also tell me that they are very active on LinkedIn. Some people consider LinkedIn as their resume, and some people spend money in subscribing to LinkedIn Premium without actually knowing how LinkedIn Premium can help them in their journey on LinkedIn. The reality is you have a profile, but is it visible? Which means, is it visible to people who are searching for people like you? Are you building those connections and network by people sending out connection requests to you? You are active, okay, but are you active as really active, quote unquote, or you are just a lurker, which means you go on profile, your LinkedIn profile, you scroll on feeds, and you may just occasionally click like, or maybe add just one small comment on a post randomly, or you're actively contributing into LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is not your resume. This is a misconception. LinkedIn is a search engine like Google. If you're searching, for example, you want to buy a new cell phone, you probably go on LinkedIn or on Google and search for reviews, referrals, prices, whatever you want to search about a particular cell phone or cell phones. LinkedIn is similar to Google. It's a search engine. Recruiters and people who are looking for information, who are looking for potential connections, go on LinkedIn and do those research, those searches. Premium will only help you if you know how to use it. Number one, if your profile is optimized, and you have branded it the way you should brand it. And branding means kind of building a pull factor. People should get attracted to your profile. And that does not only mean that the looks of your profile, but technically fixing your profile to start appearing in LinkedIn search. This is the demography that we have. So out of 800 million people on LinkedIn, 90% are lurkers. They would just go there without a strategy, scroll on a few posts, maybe like or whatever, maybe add a comment, but they don't really know what they're doing. 9% are contributors, and these contributors are people who are sharing somebody else's content. Only 1% produce their own content. So those who produce their own content have hardly any competition. If you are in a situation where there is no competition, you can outshine very quickly. But to do all that, you have to have a strategy. Let's talk about it. You need to really see, is your profile influencer ready? So this is a community of CFOs or financial sector experts. Are you able to communicate with people about the expertise that you have? You can educate them, you can help them in some ways. So is your profile influencer ready, which means how many connections and followers do you have? How many profile views do you get? How many search appearances, as I shared earlier? To start the process of building your strategy, you have to define your niche. And your niche could be anything. You could be a compliance person, you could be an auditor, you could be simply you can be an expert in SAP, for instance, or QuickBooks. All those could be your niches. Define your keywords. How you want people to search you. What are your specialization? And then define your goals. Where do you want to be in next 6 months, 1 year? Kind of KPIs. Okay, Imtiaz, you're asking a very good question. I will respond to this question in a while. And probably this is the slide that will answer to somewhat what you're asking. Your network is your net worth. I usually use a terminology called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, a terminology that I learned in the early 80s, when doing some computer programming on old Amstrad or Sinclair computers. So garbage in, garbage out means if you have garbage in your network, the resultant factor will be garbage. So the quality of network is really, really important, and the relevance is really important. So your network is your net worth. Bigger your network is, better your net worth will be. Imtiaz. Imtiaz. So stay consistent. If we are not consistent, if you're too random, that we are confusing LinkedIn. Now you know that LinkedIn is a search engine, which means that it has an algorithm working behind the scene. The algorithm needs to understand what you want from LinkedIn. If you are confusing that algorithm by being too random or irrelevant, then there is an issue. You can join a cause. So CFO Mecca Academy has a page that you can join in on LinkedIn. And that page is kind of helping you build a community. It's a cause-based page, and you have a community that you can join in or create your own community if you want. A slide that I love, and remember, givers are the real gainers. If you can become a giver, you will position yourself amongst 5% people on LinkedIn who are givers. So some contributors are givers, and content creators are definitely givers. Now, what does it mean? When I tell people, when people come and I work with them, I said, okay, become a giver. Your assignment is to define yourself as a giver. What is one thing, two things, three things that you can give? And they all struggle. You are financial sector experts. You can give a lot. Anybody can give. I actually am coaching someone who's actually graduating this year from university, and I'm telling her to become a giver. And it's so simple. So you have to think aloud how you can become a giver, because if you are among seekers, there are 95% seekers. You are in a big pool of people, and this big pool is just you will be just a drop in the ocean in this big pool. But if you reposition yourself, redefine yourself as a giver, you stand out very quickly. And the givers are the real influencers. Givers gain followers and are trusted. And when you're trusted, you become more known in your community, and a lot of people can actually recommend. So I get a lot of recommendations. I know Saleem gets tons of recommendations from people like you who follow us, who join our webinars, and they trust us as givers. And LinkedIn's algorithm love givers. You become a giver, you will see your profile appearing in LinkedIn search more frequently. There are three broader categories of LinkedIn users. One is job seekers, the second one is value seekers, and the third one is influencers or givers. Job seekers and value seekers, that's the bigger community. And you can still be a job seeker, but don't tell that you're a job seeker. Become a giver. People will come and talk to you and ask if you are interested in an opportunity or opportunities. Value seekers are the people who are looking for information. And if you can give that information out to them, you can still outshine and stand out from the rest of the crowd. Now ask these questions. Is my profile attracting views? Is my profile appearing in searches? Is my profile hitting targeted keywords? So if you are, for example, in a week appears in 50 searches, are these searches attracting keywords such as, I'm just giving an example, CFO or financial controller? If not, then of course you are just appearing in random searches, which will not help. Am I receiving connection requests? So are people asking me to connect with them? And are people accepting my connection request? Which means if I send a connection request, whether that connection request is accepted or not, or what is the rate of connection. Your success depends on these factors. Focusing on LinkedIn optimization. And often people are confused with this word optimization. I told you it is a search engine. So you have to optimize your LinkedIn, all the features that are on LinkedIn. And by the way, there are 24 features on LinkedIn that you have to work on and optimize. Those 24 features, once you have worked on and optimized based on a strategy, you will start hitting on LinkedIn search. Your branding really matters. So I am in Canada, and some of my clients are immigrants who are either in Canada or coming to Canada soon. And what I see in a very routine manner, their profile cover picture is either CN Tower or Niagara Falls. Those who are in Hong Kong or in these financial capitals, they would have, a night picture of glowing buildings. Does it really, these kind of pictures don't really help you in your branding. So you have to build a brand. And as a financial sector expert, you may need somebody's help to build your branding strategy. Maybe you have to be active, and you have to utilize all LinkedIn features. If you don't, then you are not optimally utilizing LinkedIn. LinkedIn is still highly underutilized and highly underrated. You You have to come out of that mindset. Do not underestimate the power of LinkedIn. Now, think about, a lot of people say we don't have time. If, for instance, what's his name? I've actually pulled out some interesting information. Now, Chairman and CEO of JP Morgan and Chase, he is on LinkedIn. If people, senior people from Deloitte are on LinkedIn, president of Nasdaq is on LinkedIn, um, and PayPal CEO is on LinkedIn. They all have time somehow to spend. If they're not managing their own profiles, that's fine, but they're part of the strategy. Saying that we don't have time on LinkedIn is really kind of undermining the potential or not utilizing the potential of LinkedIn. If all these big people, the real busy people, top level financial people are on LinkedIn and capitalizing on LinkedIn's potential, we all should too. Question about keywords. So I can, of course, this is not a coaching session on LinkedIn. This is an awareness session. So what I can tell you is a bit of insights to what I mean when I say keywords. So if you are, consider yourself as this light green triangle, and if somebody is searching for a triangle, a blue triangle, and that person lands on your profile because you're still a triangle, maybe a smaller and a different color triangle, this search is somewhat relevant. But if you are a green circle or a red square, you cannot fit into this, or you cannot relate yourself to this. So you need to really be very thoughtful of how you want to present yourself out there, so that people who are searching for a triangle can still find you and can relate to you. If you're a triangle of this exact size, exact color, that's fantastic. But somewhat you have to be a bit of triangle of some sort. As Saleem said, I am a LinkedIn coach and consultant. I do LinkedIn profile coaching, as well as I work with my clients on optimizing their LinkedIn profiles. A lot of these questions, I can respond to some of those, but this is very deep. LinkedIn profile optimization is a process, and branding is a process, and learning is a process. If you want to be part of that process, then I'll be happy to talk to you. These are my quadrants, and you can always connect with me through Saleem. Here I end my presentation, and over to you, Saleem. If you want to take more questions, we can do that too. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm sure I try to help you redefine your thinking process about LinkedIn and how you can use LinkedIn as a platform to highlight your skills and your passion and your professional good to people who are not connected with you. This is Hamad Siddiqui. I'm done speaking.
Thank you very much, Hamad, for providing a very valuable insight to the participants of this webinar. I'm sure there would be future opportunities where you could give some more detailed insight to help these people.